There comes a moment in almost every person's life when the path ahead disappears. You wake up with questions instead of answers. You begin to wonder if you're moving in the wrong direction or if you've already missed your chance. In those quiet moments, it's easy to believe that feeling lost means you've failed. But what if that feeling isn't the end of your story? What if it's the place where your real journey finally begins? Think about every meaningful transformation in history. Before people discovered a new path, they first realized the old one no longer worked. Before they built something extraordinary, they had to let go of what was comfortable. Feeling lost isn't a sign that life has abandoned you. It's often a signal that you're standing at the edge of growth, preparing to become someone you've never been before. The challenge is that uncertainty feels uncomfortable. Your mind wants immediate answers. It wants guarantees. It wants proof that every step you take will lead somewhere worthwhile. But life doesn't work that way. The greatest opportunities often hide behind moments that make no sense at first. You don't always understand the purpose of today's struggle until you look back years later and realize it was preparing you for something greater. When you feel lost, don't rush to escape the feeling. Listen to it. Ask yourself what it is trying to reveal. Maybe you've been chasing goals that belong to someone else. Maybe you've been living according to expectations instead of convictions. Maybe you've been so focused on reaching the next destination that you've forgotten to ask why you started the journey in the first place. Feeling lost can become the invitation to rediscover what truly matters. Many people spend their lives avoiding uncertainty because they mistake comfort for security. Yet comfort rarely creates growth. The strongest leaders, the most resilient individuals, and the people who inspire others all have one thing in common. They walked through seasons where nothing was clear, yet they continued moving with courage instead of certainty. They didn't wait until every question was answered. They trusted that progress would come through consistent action. Your future doesn't require you to have every detail figured out. It asks only that you take the next step with intention. One conversation can open a new door. One decision can change your direction. One habit repeated every day can completely transform your identity over time. Small actions taken consistently become the bridge between confusion and clarity. The person you are becoming is shaped during these uncertain seasons. Anyone can stay committed when life is easy and success feels guaranteed. Character is built when the destination is invisible, when the results are delayed, and when continuing forward requires faith more than confidence. Those moments reveal what you're truly made of. So if you feel lost today, don't see it as evidence that your journey is over. See it as proof that you're standing between who you were and who you're capable of becoming. Every new chapter begins with leaving the old one behind, and every meaningful life is written one courageous decision at a time. The path may not be visible yet, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Keep moving. Keep learning. Keep believing that even in uncertainty, every step is preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. Every day, millions of people wake up believing they need to feel motivated before they can take action. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect moment to finally begin. They watch inspiring videos, read powerful quotes, and search for something that will ignite a spark inside them. For a few hours, they feel energized. They promise themselves that this time will be different. But when the excitement fades, so does their progress. This cycle repeats again and again, leaving them frustrated, exhausted, and convinced that they simply lack motivation. The truth is, motivation was never meant to carry you through life. It is an emotion, and emotions are temporary. They rise and fall with circumstances. Some mornings you wake up feeling unstoppable, while other mornings even the simplest task feels impossible. If your future depends on your feelings, then your future will always be unpredictable. Feelings change. Purpose remains. The people who achieve remarkable things are not those who wake up inspired every single day. They are the people who have discovered a reason that is stronger than comfort, stronger than fear, and stronger than temporary emotions. They don't ask themselves whether they feel like showing up. They remind themselves why showing up matters. That single shift changes everything. Your reason is not a goal written on a piece of paper. It is something much deeper. It is the answer to a question that only you can answer. Why does your dream matter? Why is your family depending on you? Why do you want to become stronger, healthier, wiser, or more successful? Until you answer that question honestly, motivation will always feel like something you have to chase instead of something that naturally follows your actions. Many people confuse ambition with purpose. They want success because it looks impressive. They want wealth because it promises comfort. They want recognition because they hope it will make them feel valuable. But external rewards lose their power when challenges appear. The moment life becomes difficult, goals built only on appearance begin to collapse. A meaningful reason, however, becomes stronger during difficult seasons because it reminds you what is truly worth fighting for. Imagine two people climbing the same mountain. One climbs because someone told them it would look impressive. The other climbs because reaching the top means creating a better future for the people they love. Both will face the same obstacles, the same storms, and the same exhaustion. But when the journey becomes painful, only one has a reason powerful enough to keep taking another step. The difference is not talent. The difference is purpose. Finding your reason requires honesty. It requires silence in a world full of distractions. Instead of asking what everyone else expects from you, ask what kind of person you want to become. Instead of comparing your path with someone else's achievements, focus on the values you refuse to compromise. The clearer your purpose becomes, the less you need outside encouragement because your direction comes from within. Once your reason becomes clear, every decision begins to change. Difficult work no longer feels meaningless because you understand what it is building. Sacrifices become investments instead of losses. Setbacks become lessons instead of excuses. Even failure takes on a different meaning because you no longer see it as the end of the journey. You see it as part of the process that is preparing you for greater responsibility. Life will never promise constant motivation, but it can offer something much stronger. It can give you a purpose that survives disappointment, uncertainty, and fear. When you stop chasing temporary feelings and start living according to a meaningful reason, your actions become more consistent, your confidence becomes more genuine, and your direction becomes clearer with every step you choose to take. One of the biggest reasons people never reach their potential is because they underestimate the power of small actions. They believe success must arrive through dramatic breakthroughs, overnight transformations, or one life-changing opportunity. They imagine that extraordinary results require extraordinary beginnings. But if you study every meaningful achievement, you'll discover a different pattern. Great success rarely starts with a giant leap. It almost always begins with one small decision repeated consistently over time. The challenge is that small steps don't feel important in the moment. Reading a few pages of a book doesn't instantly make you an expert. Exercising for 30 minutes doesn't immediately transform your body. Saving a little money today doesn't suddenly create financial freedom. Because the results are invisible at first, many people convince themselves that their efforts don't matter. They quit long before those small actions have the chance to produce extraordinary outcomes. Life rewards consistency far more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for one day. Anyone can stay motivated for one weekend. The real difference is created by the person who continues long after the excitement disappears. Small actions performed every day build habits. Habits shape character. Character determines destiny. The future you dream about is not built in one unforgettable moment. It is built in hundreds of ordinary moments that most people choose to ignore. Imagine someone building a bridge across a wide river. They don't complete the bridge by placing every piece at once. They lay one foundation, one beam, one support after another. Every piece may appear insignificant on its own, but remove enough of those small pieces and the bridge can never stand. Your life works exactly the same way. Every disciplined decision strengthens the foundation of your future, even when nobody else notices. Too often, people become discouraged because they compare their first step to someone else's thousandth. They look at successful individuals and assume those people reached greatness quickly. What they don't see are the countless mornings of discipline, the repeated failures, the quiet sacrifices, and the invisible effort that happened long before success became visible. Every remarkable achievement has a hidden story made up of ordinary days and consistent actions. Progress is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it feels almost invisible. You become a little stronger than yesterday, a little wiser than last month, a little more confident than last year. These improvements seem too small to celebrate, yet they quietly transform every part of your life. Over time, those tiny improvements begin to multiply until one day people call your success extraordinary. They see the destination, but not the countless small choices that created it. There will always be a temptation to wait for the perfect plan or the perfect opportunity. But perfection often becomes the greatest obstacle to progress. A simple action completed today is more valuable than a perfect plan postponed until tomorrow. Momentum grows through movement, not through endless preparation. Every small promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence and reminds you that you are becoming someone who follows through. Success is not reserved for the most gifted or the most fortunate. It belongs to those who understand that consistency can accomplish what talent alone cannot. Every page you write, every skill you practice, every challenge you face with courage becomes another investment in the person you are becoming. These moments may seem ordinary now, but together they create an extraordinary life. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is not crossed through one giant leap. It is crossed through patient, disciplined, intentional action repeated day after day. When you stop searching for shortcuts and begin respecting the value of each small step, you realize that greatness is never built all at once. It is built one decision, one habit, and one purposeful action at a time. There is a quiet lie that holds more people back than failure ever could. It whispers that because you made mistakes yesterday, you are destined to repeat them tomorrow. It convinces you that your past is a permanent label instead of a temporary chapter. Over time, that lie becomes so familiar that you stop questioning it. You begin introducing yourself through your disappointments instead of your potential. But the truth is this: your past may explain where you've been, but it does not have the authority to decide where you're going. Every person carries memories they wish they could rewrite. Some remember opportunities they never took. Others remember relationships they lost, businesses that failed, dreams they abandoned, or words they wish they had never spoken. Those moments can feel heavy because the mind has a habit of replaying painful experiences, hoping somehow they can be changed. Yet no amount of regret has ever rewritten yesterday. The only thing regret can change is the quality of today if you allow it to control your decisions. The greatest danger isn't making mistakes. The greatest danger is believing your mistakes define your identity. There is a difference between saying, "I failed," and saying, "I am a failure." One describes an event. The other becomes a belief. Events can teach you. Beliefs can imprison you. The moment you confuse your experiences with your identity, you begin placing limits on what you believe is possible. Growth begins when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can this teach me?" Every challenge carries a lesson. Every setback contains information. Every disappointment reveals something about your habits, your mindset, your priorities, or your character. People who continue growing are not those who avoid failure. They are the ones who refuse to waste it. They transform painful experiences into wisdom, and wisdom becomes the foundation for better decisions. History is filled with individuals who faced rejection before recognition, setbacks before success, and uncertainty before achievement. Their stories remind us that difficult beginnings do not prevent extraordinary endings. What changed their lives was not the absence of obstacles, but their refusal to allow those obstacles to define their future. They chose progress over self-pity. They chose responsibility over excuses. Most importantly, they chose to believe that tomorrow could become different because they were willing to become different. You have more influence over your future than your past ever had. Every decision you make today begins shaping the person you will become. Every new habit weakens an old pattern. Every courageous conversation replaces silence with confidence. Every act of discipline proves that change is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through intentional choices repeated over time. Many people remain trapped because they spend so much energy looking backward that they never notice the opportunities waiting ahead. They carry old disappointments into new seasons, expecting the future to resemble the past. But life does not move backward. Every sunrise offers a fresh opportunity to think differently, act differently, and become someone stronger than you were yesterday. The future is not waiting for a perfect person. It is waiting for a person willing to keep learning. Your circumstances may have shaped you, but they do not own you. Your failures may have humbled you, but they do not define you. Your fears may have slowed you, but they do not control you unless you continue giving them permission. The power to choose your next action always belongs to you, and that choice is more important than anything that happened before this moment. Real transformation begins when you stop carrying the weight of old labels and start building a new identity through consistent action. Your story is still being written. Every lesson you've learned, every obstacle you've overcome, and every decision you make today becomes another page in a future that is not limited by yesterday. The past can become a teacher, but it never has to become the author of the life you choose to create. Everyone loves the feeling of motivation. It arrives with excitement, fills your mind with possibility, and convinces you that anything is achievable. On those days, waking up early feels easy. Working hard feels natural. Every goal seems within reach. But motivation has one weakness that many people discover too late. It never promises to stay. It comes without warning, and it leaves just as quickly. If your success depends only on motivation, then your progress will always rise and fall with your emotions. The people who create extraordinary lives understand something different. They know there will be mornings when they feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. They know there will be days when the work feels repetitive and the results seem invisible. Instead of waiting for motivation to return, they rely on something stronger. They rely on discipline. Discipline is the decision to do what needs to be done, even when every emotion tells you to choose comfort instead. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people think it means living without joy or constantly forcing yourself through misery. In reality, discipline is an act of self-respect. It is choosing the future you want over the temporary comfort you feel today. Every disciplined decision sends a message to yourself that your dreams are worth protecting. Every promise you keep strengthens your confidence because you begin trusting your own actions instead of your changing emotions. Consider the difference between someone who exercises only when they feel inspired and someone who exercises because it has become part of who they are. The first person makes decisions based on mood. The second person makes decisions based on commitment. Over time, commitment always outlasts emotion. The body grows stronger because of consistency, not excitement. The same principle applies to every area of life, whether you are building a business, learning a skill, improving your relationships, or pursuing a meaningful goal. There will always be reasons to stop. Life becomes busy. Unexpected challenges appear. Doubt enters your mind. Progress feels slower than expected. During those moments, motivation offers excuses while discipline quietly reminds you why you started. It encourages you to take the next step, even when that step feels small. It teaches you that momentum is created by continuing, not by waiting for perfect conditions. One of the greatest benefits of discipline is that it removes unnecessary decisions. Instead of asking yourself every morning whether you feel like working toward your goal, the answer has already been made. You simply act because that is the standard you have chosen for yourself. The less you negotiate with your excuses, the more energy you have to focus on meaningful progress. Successful people do not spend their lives debating whether to honor their commitments. They build routines that make consistency a natural part of everyday life. Discipline also changes the way you respond to failure. When you are driven only by motivation, setbacks often feel personal. You become discouraged because your emotions rise and fall with every result. But discipline teaches patience. It reminds you that meaningful achievements require repetition, learning, and resilience. A difficult day no longer becomes a reason to quit. It becomes another opportunity to prove that your commitment is stronger than temporary disappointment. Confidence is not created by speaking positive words to yourself. Confidence grows every time you follow through on a commitment, especially when it would have been easier to walk away. Each disciplined action becomes evidence that you can depend on yourself. That trust becomes one of the most valuable qualities you will ever build because it cannot be given by anyone else. It must be earned through repeated action. The difference between ordinary results and extraordinary achievement is rarely talent alone. It is often the willingness to continue when excitement has disappeared and progress feels slow. Discipline allows you to move forward without needing constant inspiration. It transforms ordinary days into meaningful investments and repeated effort into lasting success. While motivation may begin the journey, discipline is what carries you through every challenge until your actions become the person you are always capable of becoming. Every person dreams about a better future. They imagine a life filled with confidence, purpose, success, meaningful relationships, and the freedom to live on their own terms. They picture the destination clearly, but many overlook the most important question of all. Who do you need to become in order to create that future? The life you desire is not built by wishing for different circumstances. It is built by becoming a different version of yourself through intentional growth and consistent action. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, believing that one day everything will finally change. They hope for the right job, the right connection, the right moment, or the right amount of confidence. But opportunity rarely transforms people. More often, transformed people recognize opportunities that others ignore. The future does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who prepare themselves long before the opportunity arrives. Success is not simply about achieving goals. It is about developing the character required to sustain those achievements. Imagine giving someone extraordinary success before they develop discipline, patience, humility, or responsibility. Without the character to support that success, it eventually disappears. This is why personal growth always comes before lasting achievement. Life often prepares the person before it delivers the opportunity. Your habits reveal the person you are becoming. Every choice you make is a vote for your future identity. Every time you choose learning over distraction, courage over fear, honesty over convenience, or discipline over comfort, you strengthen the character that will shape your tomorrow. These decisions may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they quietly transform the way you think, act, and respond to life's challenges. Too many people focus only on changing their results while ignoring the need to change themselves. They want greater confidence without facing discomfort. They want stronger relationships without becoming better listeners. They want financial success without improving their skills. They want leadership without developing integrity. Real change begins from the inside. External success becomes sustainable only after internal transformation has taken place. Growth requires letting go of old identities. Sometimes the greatest obstacle is not a lack of talent, but an outdated version of yourself. The person who procrastinates cannot create the future of someone who acts with purpose. The person who constantly seeks approval cannot become a confident leader. The person who avoids responsibility cannot build a meaningful legacy. Every new chapter requires leaving behind habits, beliefs, and excuses that no longer serve your future. There will always be moments when growth feels uncomfortable. You will question your progress. You will face setbacks that test your commitment. You will experience seasons where your efforts seem unnoticed. Yet those are often the moments when the deepest transformation is taking place. Just as a tree strengthens its roots before growing taller, your character is being developed beneath the surface before the results become visible to everyone else. The remarkable thing about personal growth is that it influences every part of your life. As your mindset changes, your decisions improve. As your decisions improve, your habits become stronger. Stronger habits create greater consistency, and consistency produces results that once seemed impossible. The future is not created by one extraordinary event. It is created by ordinary decisions repeated until they become part of who you are. Instead of asking whether you are ready for your dreams, ask whether you are becoming the kind of person who can carry those dreams with wisdom, resilience, and humility. Every challenge is preparing you. Every lesson is shaping you. Every disciplined action is moving you closer to the person your future requires. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in circumstances or possessions, but in the continual development of your character, because the person you become will ultimately determine the life you create.